Okay. Would it be fair to say that Scientology intimidates people by suing them to death?
Sure, there's policy on that. It's a part of the Scientology doctrine that one method of intimidating somebody or silencing a critic is to sue them. And Scientology has enormous amounts of money in their war chest, specifically earmarked to pay attorneys for that kind of harassive litigation. There's one man whose name is Lawrence Wallersheim, who's been in litigation with them for 14 years. He's won his case. It's been at the Supreme Court. Scientology has sworn they will never pay him one thin dime for Wallersheim, is their motto. And he's now finally gotten to the point where he's about to put them in receivership on some of their properties to collect anything for his case. Scientology is willing to spend any amount of money they need to. They don't care how much it costs. The purpose is not to make any money off of the litigation. The purpose is to silence the critic.
Yeah.
And of course, as you can imagine, it's quite an effective method.
Do they win many of these cases?
No. I'm not sure if they've ever won a civil case. But again, that's not really the point. They don't file these suits to win them. They file the suits to break the person financially, to make the person's life so difficult that they finally agree to leave Scientology alone and not talk about it anymore. Like I said, it's been pretty effective. People are concerned about speaking out about Scientology for fear of suit. It's one of the methods that they use most often.
Yeah. Does anyone know how much money Scientology has?
Oof, probably not.
Yeah.
It's stashed away in so many different nooks and crannies and so many different accounts in so many different countries that it would be hard to say.
Yeah.
There's a part of Scientology which is called the International Association of Scientologists, which is, they call it IAS, and that's their war chest. Wealthy Scientologists are wooed relentlessly and donate thousands and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars into the war chest, which is, as I said before, specifically for the purpose of funding attacks on critics. And one of the reasons that it was so important for them to gain their tax exemption was so that all of this money that's donated for is tax exempt for the people that are donating it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's better to pay money for something that's tax exempt.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're making very much money off of Scientology services per se. It doesn't seem as if they're expanding very much. It seems as if actually they're getting smaller. I think fewer and fewer people are finding it attractive. And yet there is still a stable of very, very wealthy long-time Scientologists, and I mean very wealthy Scientologists, who are willing to give enormous sums of money to keep this organization going.
Has Scientology managed to infiltrate any groups at all that people might be surprised to hear? I mean, such as we've heard them connected with like CNN and groups like that. Do they rise up in other organizations like moles?
There is a directive written by Hubbard, which is called the Special Zone Plan. And in that directive, he orders Scientologists to get themselves jobs close to powerful people in politics, in the media, in whatever sphere of influence they can get themselves into. And there are lots of Scientologists that have that are following those orders by Hubbard. But whether there's a specific group that they've targeted to infiltrate and take over, I don't know. I just know that if you are a Scientologist and you get yourself a job close to a politician, close to someone in the media, close to someone in a particular business, such as, for example, investment companies, things like that, you will do what you're told by your Scientology handlers. If they want you to get that person to go in a certain direction or whatever, you will do everything you can to get that done. So whether you want to call that a mole or not officially, that's up to you. But I can tell you that Scientologists are the most dedicated, fiercest, focused, and justifies the means group of people I have ever seen.